Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my ranking of Doctor Who Series 2. Like Series 1, this is my original copy. I got this for my birthday in 2008. No, 2007. My 8th birthday in 2007. However, in 2016 I also got a newer copy, and I watched the discs of this one, and I don't think the discs are that better, but I just wanted to have a one that looks like a nicer looking one as well, but still got the other one for the sentimental value. And also display purposes, but the other one is probably going to be the one I used for watching the episodes, especially as I was due to watch them on those discs anyway. So Series 2, as I said at the end of my Army of Ghosts Doomsday review, I enjoyed Series 2 a bit more than I thought I had before or expected to. I thought it was really great. There were some very great standout stories, and even the stories that I didn't expect to like that much, I actually liked a little bit more than I did before. To say that they're okay, I mean, yeah, they're not terribly great, but I wouldn't go as far as to say they're awful. Yeah, I actually liked just a little bit, yeah. So, yeah, it depends on people's opinions, I guess. But, yeah, Series 2, really great series. So the stories we will be looking at are The Christmas Invasion, which is the 2005 Christmas special, and then the rest of the series is New Earth, Tooth and Claw, School Reunion, The Girl in the Fireplace, Rise of the Cybermen and the Age of Steel, The Idiot's Lantern, The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, Love and Monsters, Fear Her, and Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. Once again, the two-parters will be counted as one story. So there are 11 spots in here rather than 14. And before we get to those bits, however, 2 honourable mentions, as I will not be ranking these two in the actual ranking. They are getting honourable mentions. And those are the 2005 Children Need Minnesota Special, Doctor Who 2005 Children Need, or Born Again, which is the title I prefer. The other one is, of course, the 2005 Christmas Interactive episode, Attack of the Graske, well, Minnesota. Yeah, I like these two, but I don't think they're anything stand out, but they're good. Enjoyable. Born Again bridges the gap between Parting the Ways and Christmas Invasion, so they don't have to cover all the post-regeneration stuff in Christmas Invasion. They can get straight to the story. Attack of the Grass is a bit of fun for the audience, just to have a bit of a game with the new 10th Doctor as a companion or companions, and just have a bit of fun. It was nice. They weren't spectacular, but they were good. Right, on to Series 2 properly, starting with number 11. Number 11 is widely considered one of the weakest stories of the show, but for me, I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it a little bit more this time around. I will admit it's not very great, though. It's not very interesting in places, but it's got an interesting premise, and it's got some decent ideas, and I think it works alright. Number 11 is Fear Her. No, I do not think Fear Her is that great. I don't think it's very good. But I think it's alright. It's just okay. I mean, I can see why some people will be put off, especially adults. But I think it's alright. It's fine. Simple. Sometimes you do need to go back to have a more earthbound story, more grounded in a Earth story. As Crystal D said in her 5 Who Fans video about underrated episodes that you might want to give another chance. And yeah, certainly after this one and Love and Monsters, yeah, it might be a good idea to rewatch a couple of episodes that weren't so well received, unless they really were really fucking awful, like Hellbent. But I think this one, it's alright. Doesn't really offend anyone that badly. It's just not that great. It's I think the main problem is that wasn't that good. That's probably what it is. But I think it's alright. Just alright. I mean, it's not going to blow my mind or anything. I did have a little bit of fun. I did have a bit of fun, but it's not going to be spectacular, is it? But at the same time, it's not the worst thing that's ever aired on the screen. I will say this though: at time of series 1 and 2 of the new series, it is currently the weakest story of the show at this point. Even though it's got the same score as Boomtown, I think Boomtown was slightly better, so that one tops this story, in my personal opinion. Was Boomtown the lowest on my ranking of Series 1? It was that or Long Game. one or the other. But I think this one's also weaker than Long Game, if that was lower. But yeah, at the moment it is the weakest of the new series so far. But I'm sure there'll be some weaker ones to come. There are definitely weaker ones coming up in the Moffat era, but I'm not certain about Russell T Davies' era. Certainly Matthew Graham's next contribution to the show will be two of my least favourite 11th Doctor episodes. Or certainly one of my least favourite 11th Doctor stories. I thought it might have been my least favourite 11th Doctor story, but then again, Assignment Daleks comes up after that, so maybe might change to that. But certainly the Ganger two-parter is one of my least favourite stories of the new series. So yeah, I'm not exactly looking forward to that when that comes around. But that will be Series 6, so it won't be just yet. But Fear Her, it's alright. For a last-minute script, it's okay. Number 10 is an episode that really shouldn't have been the first episode of the series. It should have been the second or third. Well, actually, no, the third one, School Reunion. Second, then. New Earth. Now, credit where credit's due. Russell T Davies gave an episode for Billy Piper to be a bit more comedic, a bit more fun. And we also got, it sort of serves as a semi-sequel to End of the World, following that story and serving as part of a trilogy that wraps up with Series 3's Gridlock. As well as for finishing the Lady Cassandra O'Brien something story from End of the World, as well as starting the Cat Nun story and the New Earth story that would continue in Gridlock. But yeah, this story isn't that great. It's all right. Yeah, it's just okay. I liked it a bit more than Fear Her because I think there was a bit more of a story in there. But yeah, it's not got much to it. It is a fast-paced one. I'll give it that. It is pretty good at fast-paced. Moffat era stories could sometimes struggle being 45 minutes and have too much in the plot in the story. Same for some Chris Chibnall stories where there's too much plot for 50 minutes. But I think when it comes to the Russell T Davies era, there's usually plenty, if not even enough for 45 minutes. But I think it just about works here. I think it works for quite a lot of his stories, to be honest. His era stories. So yeah, New Earth, I think it's okay. Again, not that brilliant though. Number 9. Okay, I'm going to be hated for not putting this at 10 or 11. On the other hand, I might get hated for not putting it higher, to be honest. Depending on which fans I get. If I've got the fans that hate this story and that hate me for not putting it 10th or 11th on this ranking, or even lower. What could be lower? I don't know, but you could easily argue that. Or I could get hated by the fans who do like the story or love this story for not putting it higher. But as for me, I went in with this story with my opinions, and this ranking is my opinion, so I'm going to rank this story where I like, and I decided to put it 9th. It's not one of the best series, but I still like it. Love and Monsters. Oh god, controversy alert. Okay, okay, people, I get it. If you don't like this story, I understand. I understand why. But if you do love the story, I understand that too. As for me, I like the story, but I do think it go down a bit downhill in the final act, in Act 3. Just a little bit. I think once the Absorbaloff gets introduced, it does go a bit downhill. But for the first 30 or so minutes, it's really good. It's a very good story following Elton Pope and seeing this sort of reflection of the fan base. Certainly, I think the story is ahead of its time. I think it's more of a reflection of the fan base post 2010. But certainly, it's definitely a good representation of the fan base. Just this couple of people getting together, having a bit of fun, talk about the Doctor, etc. And then you get this one fan who comes in and makes everyone's fun a lot less fun. Even if their methods are better, it's not as fun. And yeah, we get a bit more into this. And yeah, it's a very good story. Really interesting seeing how these people would, or at least certainly with Elton, how he would be if just popping in halfway through a Doctor Who adventure. Just imagine if you just turned up, you opened the door and you saw Patrick Troughton running away from a Cyberman, or Peter Davison battling the Master, or Matt Smith taking on the Silence, or Jodie Whittaker fighting the Jadoon, or just any Doctor fighting any monster or villain, how would you react to that? Or how would you comprehend that in your mind? That's exactly what we get here when Elton sees the 10th Doctor fighting the Hoyks. So, yeah, that's an interesting concept, and we just go from there. It's just that final act goes down a bit downhill with the reveal of the Absorbaloff. The design is credited to a winner of a Blue Peter competition, so we can't slack him too much. But so I think Peter Kay is better as Mr. Kennedy than he is as the Absorbaloff. But the third act's just a bit too campy in places. But the last couple of revelations at the end, like Elton's trying to find the Doctor because he met him when he was younger, and we find out why the Doctor was there, and the final bits with Ursula Slab, I think those bits are all good. It's just the stuff with the Absorbaloff, I think, is the what takes us down a bit. It's just a bit awkward. But on the whole, Love and Monsters, I like it. I get why some people don't. Well, a lot of people, I should say. A lot of people don't. I get why a lot of people don't, but I also get why quite a few do. So, yeah, really, really great. I would also like to refer a review by Billy Tracy, one of the people who does love this story. I refer that review so you can go and check out more about the angle of the reflection of the fan, reflection of the fan angle of the story. If you go and watch that, he explains it a bit better. He does it a lot greater, and it was a bit of an inspiration for the review, and on the opinion. So, go and check that out. Number 8. Not my first Doctor Who story, but the one that got me into the show, The Idiot's Lantern. Okay, despite not being very high on the ranking, I still have a soft spot for this episode. I still like it. I actually enjoyed it more on this rewatch than I did for the watching for my 2016 Universals review, which was the time with my 10th anniversary of being a fan, although it came a few months late because of the original hacking of the first year of the channel, and then it just came later in the planned video order for the second era. But I've had to. That one was one of the ones that got deleted. So in the 2018 video deletion, so it had to get remade this year, and yeah, it's up there now. But I think I'm more positive in that one than I was in my 2016 one. But yeah, I think The Idiot's Lantern is good. It's good. Again, it's got some good elements, some good storylines, and some good stuff. Not a fan of the ending where the Doctor and Rose do send Tommy back to his dad, because they think, oh, he's your dad, you just forgive him, helping him along the way. But he was a bit, he was verbally abusive, and he could easily have been physically, we just didn't see it, and he's definitely psychologically a bit abusive as well. But yes, this is a bit odd, but still, rest of the story, really great. Love the backdrop of the coronation, using the television as an example, in 1953, Queen Elizabeth II's. The Y is a pretty good villain, although she does get a bit annoying when she goes, hungry, and feed me, when Magpie's driving her to Alexandra Palace Tower. It's a bit annoying, but manageable when she does it before. But when we get to that bit, when Magpie's driving and she's crying out, it just gets very annoying. I mean, you could have just let him drive. It's not even that far to Alexandra Palace. You'd be there in a few minutes, especially as everyone's inside watching the telly. With the coronation's broadcast, the roads will be a bit more clear. But anyway, Idiot's Lantern, I think it's a good episode. I think it's enjoyable, it's good stuff, and yeah, quite a bit of fun in there. And also, I have a soft spot for it because it was the episode that got me into Doctor Who. I mean, I'm not going to hold it as in super high regard like I do with some other episodes, quite a few episodes. Look at this ranking, it's only 8th out of 11, so yeah. But I still like it. Moving on to number 7. From this story onwards, we have nothing but 9s and 10s out of 10s. I'm serious. Even more than Series 1 only had about... Well, actually, they had about 5 10 out of 10s. And, was it 5 or 4? 4 10 out of 10s and 1 9 out of 10. The rest were 8 or lower. Now we've got 7 9s and 10s. And we start off with the series finale. Number 7 is Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. I wasn't quite certain whether I wanted to put this one here or number 6, but I thought number 6 is to a story. Also, actually, number 6's story was higher, but I knocked it down a little bit after some other episodes. But I thought that one kind of deserved to go 6. This one, I think, yeah, I think this is fine at 7. I think this one is a great story. I think it's a really great series finale and has really great moments. The first half, Army of Ghosts, great setup, great story, great Cyberman adventure, fantastic twist at the end, and it's great seeing the whole story arc revealed. Resolved. And then episode 13, wow, great stuff here. Cyberman Dalek War. Would have loved to have seen a lot more, but still, really great. Human side and character side, it's really great. And just a really brilliant story. And it also ends the series and the 10th Doctor Rose relationship on a high note. Bar the appearance of the bride at the very end, Donna Noble, who will continue, which ties into the next episode. But on the whole, Army of Ghosts Doomsday was a fantastic series finale with massive repercussions for the show going forward. Number 6. Number 6 is an episode. I decided to keep this one at 6 and not go to 7 because this one is quite a good one in terms of having messages. And it's reuniting with some old friends, having a good adventure with them. Number 6 is School Reunion. Yeah, I thought School Reunion was a very good episode. Sees the return of Sarah Jane and K9, and yeah, I thought it was very good. Story of Critter Teams is really good. Story with the Dr. Rose, it could have been a little bit better, but I think it was good. Mickey's fun, and it's just a fun story in places. It's very good. If there was more Dalek Cyberman battle stuff in Doomsday, I think that story might have topped it. That one might have been 6th, and this one would have been 7th. But I think this one gets away on its own merits just enough to be 6. I think it's a really good and entertaining story. It's also a very good jumping off point for the Sarah Jane adventures that I will with Torchwood. I will also review after I'm finished with the Doctor Who ones. So later down the line, and along with Invasion of the Bane, is able to, which is the Sarah Jane New Year pilot, is able to leap the franchise, the series off on a high note. Well, this one certainly does. I'll have to check what my opinion on Invasion of the Bane is, but I liked that. But I know I like it. Anyway, so School Reunion, number 5. Number 5, I surprisingly really enjoyed this one. In fact, I even considered giving it a 10. It didn't quite get to 10. Don't have a specific reason why, but it certainly gets 5th spot on this ranking. Number 5 is Rise of the Cybermen and the Age of Steel. This is a great two-parter. This one reintroduces the Cybermen with a whole new angle really well. I'm a bit surprised that they didn't actually ask Mark Platt to write this one, considering he wrote Spare Parts, and he gets a with thanks to credit him. They use some of those elements, and he should have been like Rob Shearman. He should have adapted his story, although with or used it as a basis for a different version of the story for the TV, like Rob Shearman did with Dalek, based on the Audio Jubilee. But instead of getting Mark Platt to do the same thing, adapting Spare Parts for TV, they got Tom Murray to base elements of Spare Parts into Rise of the Cybermen. But that being said, Tom McRae does a really great job with writing this whole parallel Earth, which again would be more of a Russell T Davies idea, especially as it has the time with the series finale. And he does a really great job setting up the parallel Earth, setting up the characters, and creating the new Cybermen. Creating the new Cybermen of this parallel Earth, and he does a fantastic job. And also, Age of Steel is a brilliant episode as well. Really enjoyed it, had some great moments, and it was just flat out brilliant. So, Rise of the Cybermen and the Age of Steel, really great reintroduction to the Cybermen and a great start for the parallel universe Cybermen. Number 4. Okay, we're into 10 out of 10 territory now with our top 4. And number 4 is the 2005 Christmas special, The Christmas Invasion. What's this? A Christmas special being this high on the list? Shocker. Well, the Christmas Invasion is probably the best Christmas special out there. It's just really good. It's really enjoyable. It's some great moments, great suspense. It's also a great post-regeneration story for the Doctor, even though he's not in it that much. But once he wakes up and he appears and the 10th Doctor is just full of energy, it's worth it and pretty much takes over the episode. And just absolutely brilliant. It was worth him being absent for most of the episodes just for him to make a really cool return and just be really awesome. Sometimes perhaps the Doctor needs a little bit of a break in order to recover before coming in to help later on. I think that's certainly something 11, 13, and maybe also 12 didn't get, is they were flown straight into adventure rather than having much time to recover. Then again, sometimes the classic series, they either took a while to recover, 3, or they got over it quite quickly, 2. Or someone would try and meddle with it, 7. Or sometimes it would cause a lot of the regeneration caused them problems, 5 and 6. 4 is probably the most stable post-regeneration, minus the fact that his mind is just erratic generally. And 8 had amnesia, but once he recovered, he was fine. Not sure about War 9, though. But I think it was fine for 10 to take most of the episode out before making a brilliant return later. And I think it worked really well with his character, and we're off to a great start with this era. Number 3, speaking of early greats in this era, our number 3 choice is the 10th Doctor's third story and the second episode of the series, Tooth and Claw. Like I said in my New Earth review, and maybe also Tooth and Claw review, and also in my Army Ghost Doomsday review, this should have been the series opener. This one sets up the story arc. This is also a really great story, really entertaining, gets the audience invested pretty much straight away. And yeah, it just works on so many levels. So I really think this one should have been the first episode of the series and not the second. Let's move a New Earth to the second. But still, Tooth and Claw is a really great episode. Pauline Collins, who played Samantha Briggs in the Faceless Ones, which has been animated, including the 2 surviving episodes, when it will be released soon on DVD, Blu-ray, and Steelbook Blu-ray. It will be coming soon, around the same time as Series 12's release. So check that out when it comes. I certainly want to. Anyway, Pauline Collins, she's now here as Queen Victoria. She's brilliant. And the story of the werewolf, all brilliant. The whole way it's told and built up, it's just magnificent. And I think it works really well, as both as a story and as also the starter of the series arc, properly this time. Moving on to number 2, this one is just another great story in the series. And I think it just works on so many levels. The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. Just a fantastic based on siege story, reminiscent of the Troughton era, but with a bit of the horror angle of the early Tom Baker era as well, thrown in with you even have Gabriel Wolfback, who played Sutekh from In Pyramids of Mars in that early 4th Doctor era. He's playing the devil now, the voice of the devil. This is just a really cool story, really great, really interesting. We also have the Ood that come from the Ood Spear, which is in the same system as the Scent Spear, which is a reference to the first Doctor era, although that's more in Planet of the Ood in this story. But Russell T Davies, who created the aliens, thought it would be he thought that the Ood would have come from the same system as the Scent Spear, and then got that confirmed in Planet of the Ood. Woo! Surprisingly, although Russell T Davies created the Ood, he didn't really write an Ood story. He didn't write this one. He didn't write Planet of the Ood. He did write them in The End of Time. He did write them in Waters of Mars. A cameo in Waters of Mars. Neil Gaiman wrote them in Doctor's Wife. It was Paul. Was it Paul? Not Paul Casey. Paul something. For Planet of the Ood. And this one, it's Matt Jones. But I think Matt Jones does a really great story here. He does a fantastic 2-part horror, space under siege story. Just absolutely brilliant, and some great sci-fi in there as well, with the whole black holes and like parallel universes. Things aren't quite as what they you might originally think. Like, oh, we can get from one parallel universe to the other. It's not that difficult. Or, oh, black holes could be gateways to other universes. In this case, the parallel universes, it's not easy to get to anymore due to the Time Lords not being around. And this particular black hole is not only is it a normal black hole, it's a far worse one than the normal ones you get. It's bigger, deadlier, and more dangerous. Which, yeah, eventually apart from the ones that get shot already, do die when they get sucked into the black hole, when the planet goes, as does the beast, the devil, Satan, etc. But okay, on the whole, Impossible Planet, Satan Pit, just absolutely amazing, so beautiful, and some of Murray Gold's best music is in this story. He has some outstanding music this series, but some of his most beautiful music is in this episode. So really good. Okay, number 1, my favourite story of series 2. Oh boy, this one is just amazing. This one is just so bloody good. Some perfect emotions, great sci-fi historical concepts, and great character moments, and it's just magnificently written, magnificently edited, directed, and filmed. It's just and performed. Just amazing stuff. 5 stories in, David Tennant is the Doctor. I mean, I would have said that after 2 or 3 stories, but after this story, there's no doubt David Tennant is the Doctor. And he's just so perfect in this episode. The Girl in the Fireplace. Probably everybody's choice for number 1 on this in this ranking, but Girl in the Fireplace is just so beautiful, so spectacular, and so amazing. Just perfectly written, perfectly put together. It's emotional, but also fun. It's enjoyable, but it's heartbreaking. It's perfect Doctor Who. It's sci-fi, historical, comedy, adventure. It's perfect Doctor Who. Just absolutely perfect. And you don't need Daleks or Cybermen or anything just to create a perfect Doctor Who. As great villains as they are, and as great stories that we get from them, and some not so great ones. But in this series, we did get some great ones. So, but once now and again, like having a bit more of an Earth-based feel, like going to a normal residential street or meeting some normal people down in a little club, you might want to do this occasional emotional story where the Doctor may or may not fall in love with a historical character and misses parts of their lives, so in the end they don't get a final goodbye, which, yeah, along with the revelations in Love and Monsters, heartbreaking. Maybe even more heartbreaking than the departure of Rose at the end of the end of the series. But yeah, this one was just wow, and yeah, probably the biggest hitter on the chest ending of the series, even more than Doomsday because of the ending, the very ending with Donna, and Love and Monsters because they tried to make it a bit more of a positive spin on the end. But my God, does Girl in the Fireplace pack a lot of punches. And it would not be the last. I can assure you there will be plenty more punchy Doctor Who stories of some sort of context further in the series. Journey's End, Vincent and the Doctor, Rosa, plenty more to come. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Would I say this is the first heart puncher? Well, this or parting the ways with Eccleston's departure, but still. Certainly one of the first ones with a historical character in the context. Again, Vincent and the Doctor and Rosa would be very good examples of what's to come later down the line, but Girl in the Fireplace definitely started it. So that's it from my Series 2 ranking, and to recap the list, number 11 is Fear Her, number 10 is New Earth, number 9, Love and Monsters, number 8, The Idiot's Lantern, number 7, Army of Ghosts Doomsday, number 6, School Reunion, number 5, Rise of the Cybermen, The Age of Steel, number 4, The Christmas Invasion, number 3, Tooth and Claw, number 2, The Impossible Planet, The Satan Pit, and number 1, The Girl in the Fireplace. Anyway, so that's it from me. Next time, we will be jumping into Series 3 with the 2006 Christmas Special, The Runaway Bride. Then we will start Series 3 properly with Smith and Jones. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here. Hang on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of... So, Series 2. As I said at the end of my Army of Ghosts Doomsday review, I think I enjoyed Series 2 a lot more on this rewatch. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Or Born Again, and Attack, or Doctor Who, or Born Again. Fucking phlegm. No, I do not fear fearing. Fuck. Definitely, there's definitely ones. Certainly, Matthew Graham's next contribution to Doctor Who will be one of my least favourite episodes of the. Also, I would like to refer to you. So it had to be remade earlier this year. It got remade, especially as everyone's inside watching the coronation or down at the Mall watching it right in front of them. Now we got 7, 9s or 10s, and the last one was an 8. Now, pretty much. Really good stuff, and yeah, it's just a very good story, and it's a really good story and really enjoyable. Had Doomsday's I think it's just about excuse me. We're not finished. Yeah, this is just a... What's this? A Christmas special. This... But it's when he gets... But yeah, I think it was fine having 10 be a bit absent before making a awesome reappearance later on. Which will be getting and which has been... However, number 1 is one of the strongest stories of the Russell T. Okay, number 1, the series, as much fun as great as they are, of course. But in this series, we did some, this or parting the ways, depending on your conception of Eccleston's department. So, on the whole,